Oh,
hey,
got it.
tonight or today, whenever you're listening to this, we're going to be talking to Caludo, the two writers who are now part of our finalist group, Catie Pidel from Minnesota and Stefan from Zurich, Switzerland.
Yeah, that's correct.
Close, yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about you two. I've read up a little and I've talked to Catie already, but give the listeners a little heads up what Caludo is and how you got together.
Well, yeah, I've been playing in several bands over the years, and like 4 years ago, very like a project that I really loved broke up for whatever reason, and so I was looking for how can I continue, and I was kind of desperate and going through from one musician to the other and looking for people to play the music with that I love, and nothing worked out for 19 auditions. I tried everything, like rock guitarists and piano players, and I was opening up like completely. Yeah, but then I thought, I was walking down the street, I was thinking, well, what I'm really looking for, if I'm really serious, I'm looking for a fiddle player who can sing. As simple as that. And so it wasn't just a few weeks later, maybe I was contacting friends again and asking, do you know any fiddle players? It was different. I was asking Elizabeth, would you like to play some music with me? Bluegrass style. And she said, well, no, I can't do that. I'm more on the old time thing, but I know somebody. And that's how it got started. The next day I was sitting in Catie Jo's living room, brought my guitar, and we played Squirrel Hunters and I don't know, all that stuff.
Yeah. That was the first one we played together, Squirrel Hunters.
That's how it got started 3 years ago. And it's been great ever since that day.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it so much.
It was really fun. From my perspective, I'd just moved back to Zurich for, I think it was the third time. And the first 2 times I'd lived there, I got really into West Coast swing dancing. And so I actually didn't do very much music, but I knew I was going to be there more permanently this time. And so I was actually just talking to my mom on the phone and saying, I think I'd really like to find some music, like find some people to play with now that I'm here long term. And then ran into our mutual friend Elizabeth, and she's like, it's so funny I'm running into you. I was just talking about you the other day. Someone's looking for a fiddle player. And then just felt like a huge stroke of luck or some sort of sign from the universe.
Wow. So 2 years together, and you added the bass player right away, or Vincent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was in the band. I was like in the
previous
band
project
together with me. And so for him, it was more or less the same situation. Probably he was also looking for a new project, and
I love
just a good thing right away.
Harmony are just beautiful.
Yeah, that was of course I was super excited to meet Stefan. We hit it off right away. I was really excited to play with him, and then he was like, well, I have a bass player friend, and we went to have a little rehearsal with him. And he just like jumped in on a third part on this song. We worked up just the 2 of us. And I was like, yep, we're keeping him.
Yeah.
Loved him to bits. Yeah.
And I'm, of course, I wish all 12 of you guys luck. But if you guys win, you're going to have a nice August vacation, because we'll book you guys over here, right?
Yeah. Yes, please. Well, we're hoping to do a tour of some sort in the U.S. next year. It's been thwarted this summer and last summer with COVID.
Sure.
But that's the hope, is to get these guys over, because especially since I'm from Minnesota, I have a lot of friends that I would love them to meet, and there's just so many good music venues around here. So
you can get some connection pretty quick.
Yeah.
Stefan, I have to ask, American style bluegrass in Switzerland, you fell in love with it because it's just good music, wasn't around you, or what?
Well, I grew up in northern Germany.
Oh, okay.
And too late, I was picking up the guitar with age 15. And every now and then I was listening to a country music show on the radio. Somehow I got interested in that music style. I don't know why. but and every now and then they featured some bluegrass music, and I was at that time I didn't even know what it is. I just loved that blinky blinky banjo and the drive behind it. And after a while, I figured out this thing is called bluegrass, and you need to get yourself a banjo to play it. That's what I did. And
oh man,
yeah, just some strange books and like construction books and the wrong banjo and the wrong tuning and all that. But after several years, I met some people who knew a bit more about that. But basically, I discovered bluegrass music from the radio. Yeah, there was no YouTube at that time. It's a long time ago, I can tell you.
I've been around that long too. So
yeah.
let's just jump into our survey then. Well, the first one I know is going to be an interesting answers. So have you been to lacrosse?
Have I been to lacrosse? Yes.
You have been to lacrosse. For what reason? Music, playing music, or just visiting?
I think it was just visiting. I haven't been too many times, but when I was a little kid, I don't know why, but I decided that like the best place on earth was Wisconsin. So my parents loved to do like little day trips, and we'd like just get in the car and drive somewhere. And I was maybe 5 or 6, and like, where do you want to go, Catie Jo? And apparently my answer was always, can we go to Wisconsin? And I was convinced. Like we would cross the border, and I would be like, the air just smells cleaner here, Mom, don't you think? And I was just so in love with Wisconsin. So I've definitely been to lacrosse a couple times, but don't remember. It's been a while, so I don't remember any specifics. But been to most places in there.
I ask if you guys have been to the Rhine River. You might have been to the Rhine River, right? How close is the Rhine River to Zurich?
Well, 30 minutes by car.
That's
yeah.
it. Wow.
Yeah.
We've been favorably compared the Mississippi River Valley to the Rhine River Valley, the way it looks with the bluffs around it.
Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. But and you might have heard about that Wisconsin and thinking it's God's country because of a Heilman, old style commercials that told you, Catie, that we were God's country over here.
Oh, absolutely. And she says, but
and thus the giant six-pack. There is a giant six-pack in lacrosse. So I don't know if you remember that as a kid, or if your parents took you to. Now the question I'd have is, Dave's Guitar Shop is in lacrosse. Have either of you heard of that from a musician standpoint? Because he's got an amazing global reach on the internet, and he's also incredible from a standpoint of his. When you get to lacrosse, you're going to want to go to his upstairs and just see his collection of about 500, 600 guitars from different. Mm-hmm. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I will keep that in mind.
Yes. Google him on Facebook or on YouTube, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right, here's the legend quiz. Bob Dylan or John Prine?
Prine.
Dylan.
Joni Mitchell or Carole King?
Joni Mitchell.
Oh man, I was going to say Carole King. So far we're opposites.
Robert Cray or B.B. King?
I don't know who the first one is, and I feel like I'm embarrassed.
Oh, all right, they're both great.
I know B.B. King.
Blues player.
Yeah, I'll go with B.B. King because I know who he is and I love him to bits. So.
I'm more of a Robert Cray guy, so I've always
okay.
But the Brandi Carlile or Gillian Welch?
Gillian Welch.
Yeah, Gillian Welch.
Oh man, I am such a fangirl.
I even saw
have a Miss Ohio shirt.
Ago.
You know
with David Rawlings in Berkeley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be right up your alley. That's kind of the sound that you guys go for with a trio like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're both writers, contributing to the festival, to the songwriting contest. You write morning, evening, muse hits, midday, never.
Stefan, what do you do?
No particular daytime. Maybe even sometimes when I'm almost asleep, I have to switch on my phone again and record an idea. But the lyric-wise, I wrote most of my stuff on a bicycle.
Oh my gosh, me too when I was a kid. I used to ride up and down my street here. I'm at my parents' house now in Minnesota visiting. And I'd ride my bicycle up and down the street. And more than once I came running into the house and said, Mommy, I wrote a song while riding my bike. And she realized that I should probably listen to something other than just bluegrass, because I think the second song I came in and told her I wrote was called 3 Shots to the Heart of My Darling. So, murder ballads started early.
You still play that one, Catie? Catie?
I still know it. We don't need to get into that. Let's just say I've improved since then, I hope. But no, I also don't have a particular time that I write. I do more probably late night, to be honest. I usually get huge bursts of inspiration when I should be doing other things. So, I'll write songs a lot during exam periods, or when I was writing my thesis, I had a couple song ideas spring up.
Stefan, how do you write on the bicycle and remember it? Do you dictate it to yourself? Or just have that good of memory?
I have my phone with me. I take a little break and then type in the next idea. Well, basically, it's not just normal bike riding. I use my mountain bike and climb up the mountains here. And it probably takes, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours to reach the top. And you're just by yourself. And you hear your heartbeat and, and the birds, probably. And you have nothing else to think about or to do. And that's a point in time when I can really concentrate on things, and then the brain gets spinning around and I get good ideas.
Yeah. I also find I get melodies when I'm commuting, either by bike or bus or whatever. The lyrics usually have to come later because I can't think through them if I don't have a pencil or something in my hand. But the melodies, I'll kind of just start singing with just filler words.
Really? That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then bluegrass is a lot of melody-driven music, so that's interesting. You work with prompts? Do you do exercises where you take a prompt and write?
A couple times. I think there have been when I was younger, I had a teacher that was trying to teach me some songwriting stuff. Or trying to help me with it, and so he would give me an idea, but again that was more instrumental. So we had a challenge going at one point where we would pick a different scale, like Mixolydian, Lydian, that kind of stuff, and try to write a fiddle tune in each of the different modes. And I've done a little bit of lyrically, if I have a line. Well, actually the song that I wrote that was one of our 2 songs, Magic, was the title of a book that I read, was called Magic Bitter, Magic Sweet. And I just really liked that, and it kind of just kept rolling around in my brain. But yeah, I don't know about prompts as much.
The next question, Stefan, you've actually said you use your phone quite a bit. So that's not paper or a computer, it's a phone. It's another digital way to do it. I have to agree with you. As I commute to work, if I turn everything off and only have silence, that's when I tend to end up writing my stuff too. It's but then you put the phone and quickly dictate it. So do a lot of this while I'm driving.
Just don't forget it.
Yeah, or a little voice memo. Do.
Do either of you have a lot of paper books, previous lyrics, or do you get them into a computer and print them off just so that you remember them later?
Yeah, I do. I do my writing on digitally. There's mostly no paper involved, except when it's finished and I bring it to the band.
Yeah.
And I want to remember the words and stuff like that. But it's digitally. I can move it around and have different versions. I like that. It's very it supports the songwriting, at least for me. But interesting, like a week ago, I was playing music with a friend that I know for a while. I discovered he's also writing songs. In this case, in Swiss German, and he's never recording anything. It's all paper, and he seems to remember everything by like his good brain in that case. And I have it's not only a notebook. It's not only the words, it's also the melodies and arrangements and little licks and whatsoever. And I always have an MP3 recorder with me, just there. So whenever like I pick up a guitar, like I haven't played a guitar for a day and I pick it up again, and the first thing that comes out of this thing with my fingers, I don't know what happens, is something new. Very often that happens and ends up with a certain chance in a part of a new song or something like that. But for that, I really need to record it. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also record a lot of stuff. I have a note on my phone that I'll add random lyrics to if I think of it. But more often than not, I'll just kind of record I tend to write things pretty closely together, like melody and lyric. And so I'll just record the lyrics with the melody that I'm hearing in a voice memo. I call it my graveyard because most of them don't make it to a finished song, but every once in a while.
And both of you talk about this melodies a lot so far. And I know, Catie, you're a degreed musician, aren't you, or not?
I have degrees. They are not in music. I'm a software engineer, so I do augmented and virtual reality.
And started so early at 13 playing music, right?
I started when I was 9, actually.
9, okay.
Yeah, I went to a Waldorf school, or Steiner Schule, and you have to play violin, viola, or cello starting in 3rd grade. And I wanted to play the cello, but my mom's car was too small. We drove a slug bug. And so she told me if I picked violin, I could take some fiddle lessons. And
Stefan,
that was that.
With the fact that you're self-taught, you haven't gone through and did any music studied.
Sometimes it's slow here.
Oh, sorry about that.
Your internet connection is unstable.
Uh-oh.
Nice, you told me.
Oh.
Can you hear me again?
Yeah, we can.
What is wrong?
Come
on, Switzerland.
Let's move to the next couple questions. And so, would you frame, if you could frame a lyric of your song, which one would it be?
Ooh.
Or a song? Which one are you the most proud of? You want to put it on a wall.
Do you have one, Stefan?
Every year is something different, but at the moment it would probably be Arrival.
All right.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah.
I think for me it's also changes, but the last song we submitted, The Truth, one of my favorite things is those, like the same lyric in each verse, and it changes meaning with the new context or whatever. And I was really excited when I got that one to work.
Okay, this is more kind of a, what kind of person are you? What color frame would you put it in, and where would you hang it?
Weird question. Probably blue.
Okay.
And I would put it in my music room. Who else?
Yeah.
Next to the guitars and who helped me to.
We don't have many guitars, it looks like, Stefan. You only have a couple.
I have a few.
Okay, so your best writing coach, you'd like to think who as your writing coach?
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of songwriters that I really look up to, like Gillian Welch. I've done a little bit of co-writing, and so I guess in the cases when I've done co-writing, my like with Sweet with Richard Crean, we wrote that together, and so we were bouncing ideas off of each other. I don't know that I've had someone that I guess my mom. I send almost everything to my mom. And like, so like, is this okay, or is this? Because she's pretty good at telling me if something's total crap, despite being my mom. And so I'll usually
for
play
me,
something
it would be
for her.
Katie for the last 3 years.
Well, Stefan, I love the comment about the daughter of a son, where you said you took it to the band and they told you it was boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember the exact words, but that was basically what they said.
Well, it was very sweet. It was something about like the family tree is growing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it was like a love song.
Mhm.
And you know my history with love songs. I was like, no one dies. What's going on here? And so he just went back and came back the next week. It's like, well, what if it's a bank robbery? I was like, done. Let's do it.
Yeah, but that happens also in other songs. Maybe not that dramatic, but Katie really gives me extremely good feedbacks, and she has this specific feeling to tell me, no, this doesn't sound right, or probably you mean something different, because my English is not that good. And every now and then something like that happens to me, so I have to change it completely around. And I'm nice that she's really taking this seriously and gives me feedback, and I can continue. And yeah, something like that.
Bring up a good question. Your population around there, you're comfortable with you guys performing everything in English, or do you do a mix of languages? Or?
I'm also writing in German, and we have 2 songs on ourselves in German.
Yeah. And then the other one in French and
yeah,
Greek.
exactly, French and Greek. Also Vincent, he's also a writer, but he's a bit lazy. He just wrote one for actual set list, but he could do more. But maybe he just wants to like write a super song, and so he never finishes, something like that. But yes, this English and German is a thing, but not so much for our repertoire that people would like to understand what we are singing about. That's not the thing, because almost all bands in Switzerland, pop bands and rock bands and whatever, they all sing
a lot of English.
of English. Yes. If you come up with a song in German, it would be something special. Then everybody's doing that. But we had comments about our webpage and our Facebook and so on. So we're trying to mix it up a bit, like part of it in German, part of it in English. But I try to avoid doing like both languages for every post. That's probably a bit overkill.
Yeah. And we also do, like, when we have concerts and stuff, we MC in German exclusively. I mean, unless we're in the States, obviously. But
yeah, can you imagine that? I mean, Katie Jo came here 3 years ago. Spoke almost no German, as far as I can tell, and she picked it up so quickly. And these days we do a concert, and she does all the emceeing in German. That's terrific. Well,
I have excellent teachers. Oh my gosh, Stefan was so patient with me when I couldn't even form sentences yet in German, and we'd be driving to rehearsal, and he'd pick me up and, so Katie, wie geht es dir? And like just being very, very patient while I reasoned my way through my beginner vocabulary and stuff. And so, well, it's weird to be speaking English together now.
Your degree in is in data mining or something, or data systems or information systems.
Mine, computer science.
Computer science. So you are a little bit of a nerd that you can pick up, and you're pretty smart at learning things.
I'm a nerd. I just get excited about learning stuff. I love languages, whether they're coding languages or spoken languages. So
well, you got some talent there. Something I think I'm too. But hold the last question. 7 words you would tell your 10-year-old self.
7 words.
7 words.
Oof.
Get a guitar, discover bluegrass music now. Was that 7?
That's close enough. I love it.
And if possible, I would like to send him one of my guitars that I own now back to me at 10 years, at a 10-year-old, if that would be possible.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking, Catie, you were already playing a fiddle at 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was already playing fiddle at that point. I was actually in my first band at that point, playing in a kids band called the Noodlers. Let's see here. What makes you? Yeah, I think mine would be follow what makes you enthusiastic and bubbly, because that seems to be all of the best decisions in my life that I've made, or like little things that have worked out, have been when I was just doing what made me incredibly happy and then following that bliss wherever it went. It's what brought me to Switzerland. It what brought me to Caludo. Yeah. I think the music is really important, but in any area of my life.
Brings me to the end, and it's been awesome talking to you two. And I think as a house concert host, I've mentioned to Catie or Stefan that even if you don't come over here during our fest, I'd love to hear you guys live. So it would be a reason.
We'd love to play.
Yes.
So I think to wrap it up, I think this Zoom thing is telling me I only have like 7 more minutes. So and it happens when we have two talkers, 3 talkers.
Yeah.
Something to say, don't we?
Yeah.
I thank you very much for being part of this interview. I wish you the best luck in the finals. You're up against some beautiful competition.
Oh yeah.
And some of them being a new folk Kerrville finalists. I would recommend you guys try it out for next year. See what it's up to, because you're definitely the quality of what a lot of them have come to us with. So, Great River Folk Fest. Neither one of you are going to be here, and if Catie, maybe tell some of your friends in Minnesota that you come on down.
Yeah. I'll post it on the socials.
Always a weekend before Labor Day, so it would be August 27th through the 29th.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful time. It's a real laid-back folk festival. So I've been doing it since 1976. So we've been around. Yeah, Pete Seeger actually played the very second festival of ours, because he knew the founder of Great River Folk Fest. So it was kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, you guys have quite the history.
Yeah. If you guys have any other questions before I sign out.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been super fun. I had to chuckle when Stefan was the one who found your competition, and so he sent me this and said, I submitted a song. I think you should submit a song. And I had to laugh when I saw it was in Wisconsin. I was like, all right, my Swiss bandmate found me a songwriting competition like right next door to where I grew up.
Yeah. I mean, you can say so many bad things about Facebook, but this is how I discovered it. It's so easy.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I'm on that side too, because there are a lot of pitfalls with Facebook. There's a lot of politics, but there's a lot of connections that I've made over the years. And
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a tool, and how you use it is important.
And in the house concert, I found that that's where I get most of my connections. And it's free advertising, and it's usually somebody who's coming to our concert who invites their friends. So that's how I increase my.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of fun to talk to you.
Likewise, it's great. We've been, texting back and forth occasionally throughout the competition and whatnot, and it's really great to finally, meet your face and chat in person.
I'll be this a little in the future, and I'll try to write something like I told you, Catie, that maybe ties in Minneapolis, your connections.
Oh yeah,
try to boost your Folk Fest reach, because we do have a festival to put on this year, baby. Last year.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to pause and stop recording now. So take care, guys.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.